My name is Dean Colony. We own the Colony Pumpkin Patch here in North Liberty, Iowa. We are changing our name actually this year to Colony Acres because we are more than just a pumpkin patch. So a little bit of history about our farm here. My grandfather purchased the farm back in 1927, right before the farm depression. My grandparents were able to hang on to the farm. My parents were able to hang on to the farm when we expanded in the 80s with that farm depression. The farm's gone through a lot of transitions over the years, from chickens to being hog farm, cattle, a little bit of dairy on the farm. So we do things different from what my ancestry did, growing the pumpkins, sunflowers, selling Christmas trees, and more stuff to come. This is our 16th or 17th year of doing pumpkins here at the farm, and continue to add more activities for kids to play on. And not just kids, but kids at heart, so their parents as well. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's coming out to the farm, having a good time.
You know, a lot of times when people drive around the city of North Liberty, they may think that all of this land here is in the city. It's actually not true. There's parts that are in the city, there's little pockets that are in unincorporated Johnson County, so it's not exactly what I would call a uniform boundary. One of the goals we have is to kind of create that uniform boundary. And so we talk with a lot of landowners about annexing into the city of North Liberty. This is a formal process. There's a couple different ways to do it. Our preferred method is what we call 100% voluntary annexation, where they submit an application to say, we would like to come into the city of North Liberty. There's a process by which we have to notify our neighbors and partners at the county, and we have a public hearing in front of city council, and it goes to the state board and they approve it. About 30 days after that, it becomes officially within the city of North Liberty. A lot of people may not know this, but the Colony Farm, for all of its history, pretty much until recently, was in unincorporated Johnson County, and you could throw a rock across the street and land it in the city of North Liberty. One of the things when I joined North Liberty, City Administrator Ryan Heyer challenged me to reach out to Dean and Katie Colony to see if they would be willing to annex into the city of North Liberty. And you know, the way I approached the conversation was, would you be willing to collaborate to write an agricultural tourism, or we call it an agricultural experience, because I like to be a little bit different, ordinance to legitimize what the Colony Pumpkin Patch does in the city of North Liberty. I wasn't aware of many ordinances that allowed these agricultural tourisms in cities. They tend to be in counties. Some are really restrictive, some are not very restrictive at all. And so I sat down with Dean and Katie, and we just kind of started this approach of what's important to you to protect your business and to be able to adapt your business and grow your business, and what's important to the city. As a city official, we're kind of always trying to protect the best interest of the city. There is a bit of a strategic part in this. The Colony Farm is altogether about 200 acres, and so it helps grow the city's boundary kind of toward the southeast, and there's other lands that we would like to incorporate there. You know, ultimately we told the colonies, if you want to keep this as a farm and do the pumpkin patch in perpetuity, that's your choice, it's your land. We would just appreciate you in the city of North Liberty because we feel it is a North Liberty asset.
2, 1, go, go, go.
We were always county, and so because we are obviously within a 2-mile jurisdiction of the city, we always had to go to the city of North Liberty. They give us permission to do what we needed for a conditional use permit, and then we would take that recommendation from the city, and then we would go to the county and claim, here's why we want our conditional use permit. So you don't know from one year to the next if we're going to be able to operate or not. Now, annexing into the city, we can put the county away and just deal with the city of North Liberty. My part as far as the annexation and the agricultural ordinance, we had approached the city numerous years about what it would take to get water and sewer at the farm. And when Ryan Rusnick came on board, he and I worked together on developing a plan for how that would look if we would annex in. So we did a ton of homework as far as other farms that we know around the country and cities that they're working with. So Ryan did a lot of homework on a lot of the farms that we provided to him, plus he found other farms as well. And with that, we were able to merge and come up with our own plan that works well, I believe, for the city and for us both.
I would probably say it was one of the hardest ordinances I've ever written because there's so many nuances. And normally in cities you want paved parking lots, and that just doesn't work out at a farm. And so we kind of had to undo a lot of things that we would normally say is a best practice in a city. Can't park in grass and things like that. So even though you're in the city, you really want to try to maintain this rural kind of feeling out here. And that was one of the biggest challenges. I thought one of the easier things to do is to say, okay, the pumpkin patch, we're going to legitimize that. It was just those other kind of development standards that we talked about. And I'd say the other challenging part was the colonies really wanted to be in a position of being adaptive and not have to come back to the city every single time they wanted to change. And so we had to write it in such a way that by allowing the use, it allows some flexibility as long as you have certain buffers to your neighbor properties and things like that. And so we really spent a lot of time too talking about what is an agricultural experience use. And overall, Dean and Katie were wonderful to work with. And I think it took us over a year to kind of get to the point where we felt like, yeah, I think we're there.
You're going to see a lot of different things going on at the farm this year. Kind of with COVID, we've recognized how tight things are together. So we've moved part of our corn maze. We've moved the play area into where part of the corn maze was at. We've added a lot of different attractions. We've got slides. We've got more hamster wheels. We've got just a ton of activities out there for people to do. So our season starts middle of August with our sunflower season, depending on how they bloom. I don't want to give a specific date right now, but it's kind of set out there on Facebook. That moves into our pumpkin season, middle of September. That runs all the way to Halloween. After Halloween, we cap off our season with the 5K run, Miles in the Maze, or it's a 1 mile fun run for the kids as well. At the very end of the year, basically Black Friday, we start doing Christmas tree sales. Typically we sell out in about 5 days, so 2 weekends we'll have all of our trees gone.